Hello, welcome to the third week of our Fold and Compress series. If you're new to this series, I do recommend that you go back and try weeks 1 and 2 of this class. Before this one, we work on some basic skills involving forward folding and compression strength that will then apply to more challenging poses in today's class. If you're with me for today's class, let's synchronize our playlist. We'll start it together. So make your way to the Spotify play button, and we'll hit play in 3, in 2, and 1. Once you've got your music set, we'll meet laying down on the mat. And however you land on your mat is totally fine. So soles of the feet can be on the floor, arms can be at your sides or overhead, whatever you need. As you arrive, take a big breath in through the nose, filling up. Hold at the top, and then wiggle a little bit in the shoulders, nod the head from side to side. Wiggle the hips, notice any stuck energy. And with the exhale, open the mouth, release, and find stillness. So for many of us right now, we're experiencing maybe more doubt and uncertainty than perhaps we ever have before in our lives. And when we're experiencing a lack of clarity, sometimes we just want someone to tell us what the right thing to do is. We just want someone to show us the path. And the truth is that there are guides all around us, and they will embrace us if we let them. But so often we're running around, we're not listening, we're not seeing these guides that could show us the right path through. And oftentimes when we're experiencing doubt, we lead from the mind. So today I'm going to challenge you to be your own guide in a different way. I want you to choose a part of the body and let that part of the body be your guide for this experience today. What does that mean? I want you to ask that body part what it needs to feel supported and nourished so that it can provide you guidance. So maybe you're choosing the heart space. Maybe that heart space needs some tenderness, some softness today. So allow yourself to back off when you need to back off in this practice. Maybe you're choosing the legs or the quads, and maybe you really feel like those quads need some firmness and some strengthening today. So you might lean in a little bit more to some of the more challenging postures. But whatever comes up for you in this practice and for that guiding part of the body, I want you to just tune in really deeply, ask what it needs, and then give it what it needs. So that's the plan. Let's take a big breath in through the nose, filling the belly, the ribs, and the chest, finding fullness at the top, all the way up to the bottom of the throat. Hold. Get comfortable being full. Open the mouth side out. Hold empty. Pull the navel back. Squeeze the last bit of air out of your abdomen. Hold just a little bit longer to that point where you think you can't hold the air out any longer. And then a big breath in, fill belly, ribs, chest. Hold at the top. Open mouth, sigh it out. Hold empty, navel back, squeeze the air out. And then slow, deep, conscious inhale from the bottom of the well of the lungs, filling like water all the way up to the top. Maybe that water is even brimming and spilling out over the top of the well. Hold. Exhale through the nose, nice and controlled. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. And with the next inhale, stretch the arms overhead, finding a full body stretch, lengthen out. And exhale, pull the knees into the chest. Rock around on the low back, notice any sensation there. And then let's take a triangular shape with the hands. Connect the tips of the index fingers and the tips of the thumbs, and you'll create this triangular shape. Place it underneath your sacrum. So the thumbs are lower than your waistband, and the fingertips are pointing down towards the tailbone. And when you pull the navel down, you should still be able to feel your low back on the floor. That's a good guide for whether or not the hands are too high. And stack the knees over the hips. Inhale, stretch the right leg long. Push through the heel. With the exhale, pull the navel down and tug the left knee tighter to the chest. See if you can feel a little bit more length through the right hip flexors. Full breath in. And switch. Right knee pulls in, left heel pushes away. As you tug the right knee closer to the chest, push out through the left heel a little bit more. Feel even more length. Full breath. And we switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, switch. And lengthen. A couple rounds like this. Notice if your low back is still on the floor. If it's not, pull the navel down. Last 4. And 3. And 2. Last 1. Good. From here, soles of the feet to the floor, pick the hips up, remove the hands from underneath you. Take the hands behind the head, elbows wide, full breath in. Exhale, pull the navel down, lift the head, neck, and chest up. So the navel's activated, it's pulling down towards the floor, keeping the low back grounded. From here, we take the knees and stack them directly over the hips. Full breath in, push the heels away. Now the heels might not hover as close to the earth as they did before. And then exhale, we pull the knees tight to the chest as the navel pulls down. Inhale, push the heels away. Keep the low back firm on the earth. Exhale, pull it in. We've got 3 more. Shoulder blades up, elbows wide. Inhale to lengthen from the heels through the crown of the head. Exhale, navel down, curl the knees in. Last one. Good. Release the head, wrap the hands around the shins, a little bit of rocking. And next, we'll meet in tabletop. There's no hard rules about how to get there, so you can rock and roll on the spine, or you can roll to one side and press up to a seat. Once you're in tabletop, start to think about your guide for today and start to invite in some gentle movement that's starting to activate that guide. So if you're working with the hips, you might push back towards child's pose, taking big circles. If you chose something in the torso, you might take cat-cow or start to circle the ribs. Maybe you want to start to warm up the wrists if that's what you've chosen. But taking maybe 3 rounds of breath to just notice how that part of the body is feeling today and what it might be asking for throughout the rest of the practice. And reverse your circles if you haven't already. We've got 2 more breaths. Last breath. At your exhale, we meet in tabletop and then push the floor away around the spine into a cat back. So spread the shoulder blades apart, drop the head heavy, and then press your shins and the tops of your feet down so that you feel the rounding through the mid back and the low back as well as the upper back. Navel draws up and in. Big breath into the upper back. Feel the space between the shoulder blades puff up with breath. Exhale, navel draws back. Now we're going to be using this kind of body activation a lot today. So I want you to notice how the navel is drawing up into the spine. We're drawing the front body up away from the floor and into the back body. We're making that back body longer, like it's the big spoon, and then our front body's getting shorter so it can fit inside the back body like the little spoon. Full breath. Push through the palms. And then inhale, cow pose. Drop the belly, pull the heart forward for a little bit of a counter. A little wiggle of the hips from side to side. Find stillness in the hips. Drag the palms back to send the heart even further forward. Good. Let's come to neutral spine tabletop, and we'll start to warm up the wrists. Turn the right fingertips to the back of the mat. A little bit of rocking forward and back. If this is too much, right fingertips can turn towards the back diagonal corner of the mat. So pointing towards the right back corner. Let's flip it. Right fingertips point forward again. Left fingertips turn back. A little bit of rocking. Good. All right, from here, let's flip the palms up, fingertips turn in. Little bend of the elbows, shift from side to side. Try to curl the fingertips in to make fists. It won't work very well, but it will intensify the stretch for the backs of the wrists. And then let's come up to fists. First knuckles on the earth, thumbs outside of the fists. Now, if you have any problems with your wrist throughout today's practice, or you need a little bit more height in any of the poses, you're always welcome to come to this position. The straight wrist will protect the joint, and it'll take some of the pressure off of that really extreme flexion that we often have with the palms flat. All right, one more piece. Let's sit all the way down to the heels. Bring the palms together in prayer. And then open the palms like the pages of a book. Pinkies connect. Bring the backs of the hands to connect. And then flip the fingertips down. We're going to keep the wrists connected and continue rolling in a circle. Finding a little bit more mobility here. As the backs of the hands come to connect and the fingertips point down, find some pressure here. Yeah. And then flip it and reverse it, moving in the opposite direction. Good, let's take it back out to tabletop. We'll tuck the toes and step back into plank pose. So find a really strong plank, all 10 fingers spread wide, the knuckles behind the fingers you're pressing down, and then push the floor away, dome the upper back slightly. Think belt buckle to belly button, so you're scooping the low belly up and in, and the tailbone is pointing down towards your heels. Reach those heels to the back of the mat, strong legs, full breath in. Exhale, bend the knees a little bit. Begin to push the hips up and back to our first downward facing dog. Let the head drop heavy. And then start to shift the weight from foot to foot, swaying the hips, making this a little bit like a dance, working with the rhythm of the song. Again, moving some of that stuck or nervous energy out of the body with some movement here. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find stillness. Push through the palms to send the chest and the tailbone up and back. Inhale, lift your heels, lift your hips high, and then round forward, finding a cat back to roll forward, stacking shoulders over the wrists. As you land in plank pose, bend the knees, push through the palms, send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Couple of rounds like that. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips, round forward, roll forward. The back flattens as we stack shoulders over wrists, and then bend the knees, push the hips up and back. And then reconnect to your guide today. Can you let that guide lead? So if you've chosen your heart space, you might think about the back of the heart rounding forward, pulling you into plank pose. If you've chosen the gut or the belly, you might think about that navel drawing up into the spine to wave you forward into plank. If you've chosen the feet, think about those heels leading the start of this motion, rising up, and then how they pull back and down to take the hips back to down dog. Last round here. Find stillness in your down dog for a breath. Side out, shake the head out. Inhale, lift the heels,
Begin to tiptoe, walk the feet up behind the wrist, keeping those heels high all the way. As you reach the top, more and more weight will stack into the palms. Take a big breath in as you reach the top. Hold, lift the heels higher, pull the navel back. As you're empty, drop the heels, sway the torso side to side. Let this be loose, let this be easy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's cross right shin over left. Bring the pinky toes on the same line, but they're about 3 or 4 inches apart. Lengthen the spine out, deep bend in the front leg, and with an exhale, bow down. You'll feel a lot of lengthening or perhaps tightness on the outer edge of the left leg. That's really normal. We've got 2 more breaths. Try pushing equally through both feet. And then see if you can shift the weight a little bit further forward. Breathe. And let it go. Inhale halfway. Uncross the legs and we'll take it to the other side. So left shin crosses in front of right. Deep bend in the left knee. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Breathe. Shift forward. Push evenly through both feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Uncross the legs, deep bend in the knees. Sway the torso side to side. And with your next inhale, push the feet down into the floor. Rise up to standing piece by piece. No rush to get to the top. As you do reach the top, roll the shoulders back and down. Take a big breath in. Out through the mouth. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your belly. Inhale, reach up through your side bodies. Exhale, tear the sky apart and dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, inflate. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, plank pose. Now you can decide how you take this vinyasa. You're welcome to take the traditional chaturanga. If you're still warming up like me, you can lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, activate your legs, pull your heart forward into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, pull the navel to the spine to lift you back into downward facing dog. Breathe through the nose. And out through the nose. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise and reach to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Again, inhale, reach up, feel all 4 sides of the waist rise. Exhale, dive down, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, weight into the toes. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump back. If you're jumping back, land with bent arms. Take this vinyasa or choose to skip it. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, send it back, downward facing dog. 1 breath in. 1 breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back to 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose and hold here. Inhale, look forward, take your heart forward, flatten out the back as you drop the shin to hover just an inch above the earth. With the exhale, find a cat back. So push the floor away, round the spine, spread the shoulder blades, curl the knee tight to the chest. Inhale, drop to hover, look forward, heart forward, flat back. Exhale, press, round, lift, scoop. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift the navel, make space for the knee into the chest. Inhale, 3-legged dog, take it up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot through, maybe without picking up the palms. And then inhale, slow, steady rise to your high lunge. Exhale, land, take a deep bend in the front knee, back leg straight and strong. Inhale, lift the low belly up and in, curl the heart up to the sky. Exhale, power lunge, hinge forward, sweep the hands back, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift it up, high lunge. Exhale, power lunge, left glute stays squeezing the entire time, left thigh lifts up to the sky. Inhale, reach up 1 more time. Exhale, power lunge. Inhale, step forward into chair pose, Utkatasana, top of the mat, feet hip width apart. Tear the mat apart between the feet so the outer hips turn on, and then sit back and down. Big breath in, lift up through the front body. Sit a little bit lower. One more breath, lift your heart, lift your armpits. Exhale, we sit all the way down to the floor into Navasana Boat Pose. So sit bones land, feet up. Lift the knees into the chest and lift the chest to meet the knees. You're finding that really big open heart. Inhale here. With the exhale, draw the navel back. Inhale, lay yourself back to low boat. Glue the low back to the floor. Heels stretch forward, shoulder blades hover. Exhale, curl the knees up into the chest. Now we're not going for speed here. We're going for smoothness. Inhale to lay it back, nice and slow. Navel down and lift. Inhale, send it back. And lift. We've got 3 more. Lift. If these start to get choppy, go a little bit slower. Last one. And lift. Inhale, lay it out to low boat. Squeeze your glutes. Hug the inner thighs. We're stretching the arms forward and we're just holding. Navel down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees into the chest. Come up to Navasana. And we're holding high at Navasana for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cross your ankles. Sitting on your sitting bones. You're going to take the palms slightly in front of the hips. And then rock back onto the sitting bones. Pull the feet and knees tight to the chest. How much can you squeeze the hamstrings? So you're really trying to pull those heels back towards the sitting bones, getting as compact as you can. Take a big breath in. With the exhale, we'll rock forward. You can place your feet on the earth, but most of the weight goes into the palms as you lift the hips and round the shoulder blades. Inhale, set it down, pull the navel back, squeeze the shins tight to the chest. Exhale, roll forward, push down. Maybe your feet help you, or maybe the feet hover. Inhale, sit down. We've got 1 more. Exhale, rock forward, plant the palms, lift the hips. Now from here, you have 2 options. You can slide the feet back underneath you and step back into plank. Or if you're like, no way, Jose, that's not happening for me, sit the hips down, plant the palms in front of you, and step back, plank. I recommend that you take this vinyasa to stretch out the core, lower down. Inhale, cobra up dog. We're here for 2 breaths. With the exhale, lift the low belly, squeeze the glutes. 1 more breath in. Exhale, look to the navel. Pull the navel back and let that take you back into down dog. Breathe in. And out. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, flat back, look forward, hips sink. Exhale, push the floor away. Front body lifts away from the floor and the knee lifts into the chest. 2 more, inhale, lower. Push and lift. 1 more. Round. Inhale, 3-legged dog, reach back through the heel. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through. Can you do it without lifting your palms? Woo! Inhale, rise, high lunge. Deep bend in front knee, back leg straight and strong, back heel elevated as high as it'll go. Take 1 more breath in, belly lifts, heart up towards the sky. Exhale, power lunge. Squeeze your shoulder blades, triceps lift towards the sky. Inhale, lift. Exhale, power lunge. 1 more. Power lunge. Inhale, chair pose, step to the top of the mat, feet hip width. Sit the hips down as you tear the mat apart between the feet. Breathe in, lengthen from the hip creases, through the belly, through the armpits, through the underbellies of the arms, and up through the wrists and fingertips. Exhale, sit a little bit deeper. 1 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, we sit all the way to the floor again. Woo! This time we keep the soles of the feet on the floor. Stretch the arms forward and then reach forward like you're reaching for something that's in front of you. Take a big breath in. With the exhale, pull the navel back and then walk your feet back in 2 inches. Inhale, lift the arms up, reach the heart up to the sky, growing tall. Exhale, walk the feet back another inch as you pull the navel back to make space. Inhale, lift up, lift your chest to meet your thighs. Exhale, walk the feet back another inch. Inhale, lift the chest, sit up tall. Exhale, we're just holding. Breathe in, lift the chest to meet the thighs, navel back. Last breath in. Exhale, release the hands, cross the ankles the weird way, the way that you never want to cross them. And we're doing the same lifts that we did on the other side. So full breath in, hands slightly ahead of the hips. Exhale, push down through the palms, lift. Woo. Inhale, set it down. Maybe try getting the feet off of the floor on this side. Inhale, exhale, press and lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press and lift. And from here, you might wiggle those feet back behind you, or you can roll over the knees. We meet in plank pose. Lower down, halfway, just till the elbows kiss the ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, look to the navel. Pull the navel back and let that be what peels the hips up and back. Inhale, lift your heels, lift your hips, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step or hop to a seat at the top of the mat. And we'll work our hamstrings a little bit here. So come into a cross-legged seat with your left shin in front. Left shin in front. And then we'll actually take that left shin up towards the sky, left foot on the floor. Make a little basket by interlacing your hands, and we'll take this basket underneath the sole of the left foot. With an inhale, kick the heel forward, keeping that basket catcher on the foot. Now, notice the left leg does not have to be straight here. It can definitely be bent. What I want you to focus on is sitting up tall through the sitting bones, rolling the shoulders back, and then pulling the navel back. Yeah? Cool. Let's switch our grip here. So turn your right fingertips down. Let's switch our grip here. So release your right hand and turn the thumb down towards the floor. Catch the outer edge of the foot, and then we'll do the same thing with the other hand. So left hand releases, turn the thumb down, catch the inner arch. Take a big breath in, kicking the heel away from you. And with an exhale, bend the elbows, maybe chin to shin or nose to shin, forehead to shin, maybe none of those. With the inhale, sit up tall, lift out of the low back. Exhale, navel back, maybe pulling the leg closer to the chest. Final breath in. With the exhale, we release the hands, but we hold the leg here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Externally rotate the leg, so turn the toes out, heel turns in. You'll catch that heel with the left hand. Both arms reach forward, big breath in. Exhale, open the arms out to the side. Woo, like you're a superhero and you've got a cape flying out behind you. Keep driving out through the heel, shoulders down. Little squeeze between the shoulders to keep the arms opening wide. Breathe. Last breath in. Exhale, release hold of the left foot. We hold it in the air for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly set it down with control. From here, take the left hand to the inside of the left shin. Big breath in, reach the right arm up and over. If you'd like, you can drop this elbow all the way down to the floor. Maybe looking up under right bicep. Take 2 more breaths to lengthen this right side body from the hip crease to the fingertips. Last one, expand right lung. Exhale back to center, and we'll take this all to the other side. So cross your legs the opposite way, right shin in front this time. Bring the right sole of the foot to the floor, basket catch the foot. With an inhale, kick the heel forward. A little bend to the right knee. Find that front edge of your sitting bones. Navel draws back. Let's release right hand, turn the thumb down, catch the inner arch. Release left hand, turn the thumb down, catch the outer arch. Breathe. Heel draws away from you. Exhale, bend the elbows, maybe pulling the leg back towards the face. 3 breaths. Last one. On the exhale, we release and we hold this leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, And on one, we externally rotate, toes turn out, heel turns in. Catch the heel with the right hand. Inhale. Exhale, we open wide. Shoulders down, little squeeze between the shoulders. Chest high, navel in, sitting up tall. The low back isn't rounding here, not falling back. We've got 2 more breaths. Last breath. Exhale, we release hold of the right heel, and we're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly set it down. Right hand inside the right shin. Inhale, reach it up and over. Maybe the forearm comes down. And whatever you have on the floor here, just try pushing back, kind of tractioning whatever your hand or your forearm, whatever's on the floor, traction it back in the direction of your leg. And notice that that gives you leverage to turn the chest open towards the sky. 2 breaths. Last breath. Exhale, come back to center. Now recross the legs, roll over the shins. Option to take a vinyasa, or we meet with the hips up and back in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, 1 leg plank pose. Keep the right glute squeezing as the right leg stays lifted. Inhale, right knee to the chest. Exhale, push the floor away, find that cat back. Inhale, 3-legged dog, take it up and back. And then lift your left heel, coming high onto the toes. Bend your left leg, and then flex your lifted foot. We'll take a couple of hops between standing split and down dog. So take a breath in. With your exhale, drive your top heel towards the sky. Get your bottom foot to lift off of the earth a little bit. And then draw the left knee towards the chest, stepping the left foot up between the wrists. We'll do the same thing to come back. So lift high under the toes, little bend in the standing leg, and then kick the heel towards the sky, finding some air time, and we land back in that 3-legged dog. Couple of hops here, and I just want you to notice that this isn't coming from me pushing the floor away through the bottom foot. I'm not jumping off the earth. I'm using this top leg to stack over the hip. Let's take 1 more hop here. Land left foot behind the wrist. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, land the toes at the back of the mat, and inhale, rise to a high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Inhale, 1-leg Tadasana. Reach the arms forward, right knee pulls up into the chest. First, start by finding your drishti. So some place that's going to keep your mind steady and keep the outer body balanced. Squeeze your left glute, because that's your stability here, and then pull your navel back. With the navel drawn back into the spine, can you pull the right knee tighter to the chest? 2 options. Right hand can wrap around the shin, or maybe peace fingers catch the big toe. With an inhale, kick the heel forward if you're taking that second option. Now notice this leg does not have to be straight. It can be bent. That's totally fine. And then we're taking some deep breaths here. And if you're stepping out like me, that's okay. Take a moment, recenter yourself, find that drishti. Come back in when you're ready. Drive the heel away from you. And then square the shoulders. Right shoulder wraps back, left shoulder forward. Big breath in. Exhale, open the right leg out to the right. Continuing to push through the heel. Now, what we didn't have on the floor was an option for this right hip to rise, but we do have that in the air, and oftentimes this right hip picks up a lot. So I want you to notice the height of that hip. See if you can draw your right hip crease down towards your left heel. So the hips are still equidistant from the floor. And then you can bend the right elbow towards the floor and let that create a little bit more lift in the leg. Full breath. Exhale, take the leg back to center. If you've got hold of the knee, kick the heel forward. We release, and we're holding the foot high for 5, 4. Keep lifting through the quad. 3, active foot. 2, pull the navel back. And 1, release the foot to the floor and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, feet hip width apart. Take Padagustasana. Take that peace finger grip. So index fingers and middle fingers wrap around the big toes. Find a halfway lift. Bend your knees and let your torso connect to your thighs. With the exhale, bend the elbows and pull yourself into the fold. Sitting bones reach towards the sky. Now, I don't really care if your legs are straight here. What I care about is this torso-thigh connection. So feeling lower body and upper body meet. 2 more breaths, head heavy, back of the neck long. One more. Let it go. Inhale, take a baby halfway lift. So you still maintain this connection between thighs and torso. Plant the palms on the earth, shoulder width apart, all 10 fingers spread wide. And we'll inhale into Bakasana Crow Pose. So lift onto the toes, bend the elbows back like you're doing Chaturanga, hugging them into the center line, perch the knees on the triceps. Look forward, lean forward. Before the feet lift off, find a cat back. So push the floor away, round the spine, the navel lifts up and in. And then maybe lean forward a little bit more, hug the heels to the sitting bones as tightly as you can, getting compact. Breathe into the upper back. Navel in. One more. And exhale, step or jump back, plank. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, look to the navel. Navel to spine, peels you up away from the floor. And we'll take it to the other side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, one leg plank. Squeeze the left glute as you roll forward. Inhale, left knee to the chest. Exhale, push the floor away around the spine. Inhale, left leg high, 3-legged. Lift high onto the right toes. Bend the right knee. Flex the left heel. Kick that left heel towards the sky. Hug right knee to the chest, stepping forward into standing split. And then take that same hop back. Kick the left heel high, stack it over the hips. Right foot leaves the floor and lands in 3-legged dog. 2 more. Use your exhale to tone the navel. Last hop. Kick left heel high. And land standing split. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, land your back toes at the back of the mat. Inhale, slow rise, high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Inhale, one leg Tadasana, left knee carries up into the chest. Find your drishti. Find your stability, find your support in this pose. Right glute squeezes into the center line. Navel back. Left knee tighter to the chest. From here, left hand wraps around the shin, or peace fingers catch the big toe. Inhale, kick the heel away. Navel back, square the shoulders. Breathe. Breathe tall. As you pull the navel back, allow the chest to lean forward slightly, so you're moving towards the work here. You're not leaning back. Final breath. Open the leg or the knee out to the side. Hip stays dropped. You can bend the left elbow to lift the toes. Maybe right arm reaches out to the right. Full breath. Navel back, right glute still working. One more. Exhale, take it back to center. Kick the heel out if you have hold of the knee. We're holding this leg up for 5. Navel back for 4. Lift through the thigh for 3. Pull the toes back for 2. Breathe tall for 1. And exhale, fold. And that's sometimes what the practice looks like, and that's okay. Let that be part of the dance today. Inhale, halfway lift. Padahastasana, insert the palms underneath the feet, toes towards the wrist creases. Inhale, halfway lift, bend your knees. Find this torso-thigh connection. Exhale, bend the elbows, drop the upper half of the body. Navel back, maybe pull up on the feet a little bit more. If you want more of a wrist release here, take the elbows out to the sides and then wrap the elbows back towards the shins in little semicircles. You can even push your toes down into the wrist creases for even more stretch for the backs of the wrists. Last breath in. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Don't lose the torso-thigh connection. Release the hands, plant the palms, crow pose. Inhale to Bakasana, lift onto the toes, perch the knees, look forward, find the cat back, Spread the shoulder blades, and then hug the heels up towards the hips. Breathe. Inhale, lengthen and expand the back body. Exhale, contract the front body. Last breath. Exhale, step or jump back. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, navel back, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Open the mouth, side out. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Hold. Inhale, push the floor away. Lift the front body. Exhale, pull the navel back. Tug the right knee tighter to the chest. And then inhale, pitch further forward over the wrist than you think you need to go. Exhale, step the right foot up between the palms. Inhale, slow rise, high lunge. Exhale, airplane arms, power lunge. Keep the body, but inhale, reach the arms forward, one long line of energy from the heel through the fingertips, and then exhale, breaststroke the hands back and lift up into warrior three. Flex your lifted toes. Drop your left hip, but then squeeze your left glute and lift the left thigh to maintain the height of the leg. Draw the front body up into the back body, core engaged, squeeze the shoulder blades. 2 more breaths, lengthen, crown of the head through the heel. Lift your low belly away from your right hip crease. Final breath. Exhale, hands to the mat, standing split, left leg goes high. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, Flamingo Pose. Curl the left knee tight to the chest. Can you get the thigh to touch the chest, in fact? Bend your standing leg, hips sinking, but this left foot is still hovering. Walk the hands back another 2 inches so you're kind of framing the standing foot. We're going to drop the hips down even more. Can you keep this left knee tight into the chest so much that you can pass the left foot over the floor and then kick that leg out into a pistol squat? Now you might be up on these right toes. That's totally fine. If you want a little bit more here, stretch the arms forward. We're just holding. If you need to set this heel down, you can for 3, 2, and 1. Hands down. Start to push the floor away. Curl this knee tight to the chest. Heel pulls up towards the hip, and then inhale, kick it high into a standing split. Exhale, bend your standing leg, plant your palms on the earth. All 10 fingers spread wide. Hug the elbows in, kind of like we're going to do crow pose, but we're not going to do crow pose. Bend this left knee, pull it tight to the chest again, and then put the shoelace side of your feet down on the floor, so you're kind of on your toes like ballerina feet. We'll step the right foot back into the same position. Now notice the position of the thighs relative to my chest. We're tight and tucked in here. Hug the inner thighs together. Bend the elbows back, lean forward. We're kind of prepping for this pose called Navasana pendant pose. Big breath in. Exhale, hug the right heel up towards the hip. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, hug the left heel. Inhale, set it down, hold. Exhale, step back, plank. Release that compression. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, take it back into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to chest. Hold. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, navel back, knee tighter. Inhale, pitch further forward. Exhale, step the left foot through. Inhale, rise high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Reach the arms forward, grow long. Right glute squeezes, and then swim up into warrior three. Drop the right hip, flex the right toes. Squeeze the right glute, lift through the front of the right thigh. Navel in. 2 more. Squeeze the shoulders. Get longer. Exhale, hands down, standing split. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right knee pulls tight for Flamingo Pose. Walk the hands back as you bend your standing leg. Hips sink low. You might lift onto the toes here if you know you like a little bit more height. Can you sneak this right heel through above the floor, keeping the knee tight to the chest? And then kick that right heel forward. Maybe hands reach forward for the pistol squat for 4, 3, 2. And one. Hands down. Push through the foot and the hands. Curl this right knee to the chest, and then take it up, standing split. Inhale. Exhale, take the right foot to the floor, shoelace side down. We're coming back to that pendant pose balasana. So shoelace side of the feet to the floor. Shins might walk in, or rather feet might walk in a little bit closer, knees tight to the chest. Bend the elbows, look forward, lean forward, lean forward, lean forward. Maybe the weight comes out of the feet and you jump back. Woo. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, take it back into your downward facing dog. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Bubble the lips, blow it out. One more. Out through the nose. Drop the knees. Sit on the heels, rest the hands in the lap, close the eyes. All right, I want you to think back to that doubt, that uncertainty in your mind. You might be having a lot of doubts or uncertainties, but try to just pick one for right now. And I want you to ask yourself, what would happen if you let that body part, that guide from today, lead you? What would it feel like if you let it guide you through that doubt? I know for me, I'm questioning reconnecting with an old friend, but my ego and our emotional baggage and our history is complicating this idea of reconnecting. But if I lead with the heart, that cuts through all of the noise and it becomes clear what I need to do. Maybe for you, it provides a different kind of clarity, leading with a part of the body. Let's take a deep breath in. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Blink the eyes open. We've come up to the last bit of work for today. We're going to work with that Lolasana position one more time. So let's bring the palms to the mat, all 10 fingers spread wide, hands shoulder width. Bend the elbows back, hugging them in towards the center line. And then let's curl the toes under, lift the hips up. We'll step the shoelace side of the feet to the floor. Notice that I'm stepping forward, so I'm pulling that knee into the chest. And then we're going to do the same thing with the right foot. So you're in this kind of compact position. You're going to take a big breath in. Push the shoelace side of the feet down and hug the heels towards the hips. Couple of Lolasana hops to handstand. Now notice I'm pushing those feet down. Hips, or rather heels, come as close to the hips as quickly as I can to try to find that stack. And then we land with soft feet. So a couple of hops here, practicing this kind of unique entry to handstand. If you're like, that's not what I need today, take child's pose, take a rest, take a breather, grab a sip of water. If you're with me, let's do maybe 5 more hops. 5 more of these Lolasana tuck jumps. And use that exhale so that you're really toning the navel before you're even stacking the hips. Last 2. And last 1. Good, and land. Woo. Breathe. Let's meet in tabletop. We did a lot of activities that ask us to contract our hip flexors. So let's find some extension there for this last bit of class. Step the right foot outside of the right hand. Walk your back knee out, finding a lizard position. Take a big breath in, stretch the heart forward. Exhale, hug the left heel in towards the hip. So left hamstring is working. Left glute is also working. And if you're like me and the glutes don't always fire automatically, reach back and squeeze that left side of the glute. Make sure it's engaged. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And all the way to the back of the mat. Now you can choose to catch the foot or not catch it. That's entirely up to you. It doesn't make a difference. Turn your chest back towards the top of the mat. Push down through your front hand and your front foot and lift the hips up and back a little bit. You might think, this is going to take me out of the stretch. And that's right, because I want you to lift the navel up and in and find that belt buckle to belly button position so that the core is engaged. And then try letting the hips sink down and forward again. And you'll find the extension is coming purely from the hip flexor rather than kind of taking it from the core. Breathe length and space into the left thigh. Last breath. And exhale, release. Right hand underneath the shoulder. Slide the hips up and back, and we step the right foot back into tabletop. Little swivel of the hips from side to side. And let's step the left foot outside the left hand. Allow the hips to drop forward and down, maybe walking that back knee back a little bit. Full breath in to find the heart opening. Exhale, hug the right heel back towards the hip. Right glute engages. Full breath in. Get empty. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over to the back of the mat. You can catch the foot or not, you decide. Whatever you choose, keep that left arm reaching back, but try to square the shoulders off to the top of the mat. And then push down through your front hand and front foot to take the hips up and back. Think belt buckle to belly button, tilting the pelvis. So your front hip points are drawing up towards the low ribs. Keep that engagement. And then try to drop the hips forward and down again. And you'll feel maybe more tightness than you expected to feel. And that's normal. The body always tends to find the path of least resistance. It's like a river. It's like water in that way. And that makes sense because we're 70% water. So when we're asking it to do, complicated movements, it will just take from the muscle groups and parts of the body that are most supple, least resistant. And for many of us, that means that we find extension in our core when we're doing these kinds of hip openers rather than actually getting it from the place we want to stretch, the hip flexors. One more breath. Exhale, release. Take the hips up and back and step back into tabletop. Little swivel of the hips. We'll do one more thing to open up the hip flexors. So if you're like me and you're on a hard floor that might be tough on the knees, let's double up the mat here, creating a nice folded area that has a little bit more support. And then we'll step the knees onto that folded portion. Knees hip width apart. Tuck the toes under, and then try to tear the mat apart between the knees like we did in chair pose. Squeeze your glutes, push the hips forward, but think belt buckle to belly button. So you're still drawing low belly up and in, finding that little tuck of the tailbone. Hands into the back pockets, fingertips point down, hug the elbows together. Inhale, lift the heart into camel pose. And exhale, lean back as you thrust the hips forward, pushing up against an imaginary wall in front of you. Now you're welcome to stay here. Maybe this is enough for you today. If you want more, you can drop the hands to the heels. And then again, focus on the structures of stability. So glutes push forward, thighs forward, belt buckle to belly button. Let's do 2 more breaths. Last one. Bring the chin to the chest and pull the navel to the spine to slowly lift back up and sit down on the heels. Close the eyes. Bring some attention to the guiding body part for today's practice. How does it feel? Blink the eyes open, unfold your mat, and let's meet laying on our backs and to wind this practice down. And lay yourself back. As you do so, hug the right knee into the chest, bringing this practice full circle to where we started. Push the left heel away from you as if you were trying to touch a wall in front of you, and then squeeze that right knee a little bit tighter. Inhale, reach the right arm out to the right. Exhale, draw the knee across the body to the left. 2 deep breaths. Inhale back to center. Exhale to trade the legs out. Left knee comes in. Push the right heel forward, as far forward as you can. And then left knee gets just a little bit more of a squeeze. Inhale, left arm reaches out to the left. Exhale, draw the knee across the body to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, catch the feet for happy baby. Stamp the feet on the ceiling to lay the low back out against the floor. A little bit of rocking from side to side if that feels good. And gently release. We've reached our final pose for this practice, corpse pose, Shavasana. You're welcome to take the traditional Shavasana with the legs long and the arms long, or if you find that you get distracted in Shavasana while practicing at home, you can take seated meditation as well. Take a moment to find a comfortable stillness in this finishing pose, and then take a big breath in. Hold the breath, get any last minute wiggles out. Open the mouth and release yourself to stillness. If you would like to stay and you have a little bit more time to do so, you're more than welcome to. If you're ready to come out with me, take a big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Drop one ear to the mat and then the other, massaging the skull. And
On your next full breath in, reach the arms overhead, full body stretch. Exhale, pull the knees into the chest and roll to your side. You're welcome to end practice resting on your side, or if you'd like to meet me in a comfortable seat with your hands at heart center, you're more than welcome to do so. And as we end practice today, I just want to remind you that doubt is not a bad thing. And I'm going to share with you something that my teacher has shared with me that her teacher gave her. And it goes like this. I beg you to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and to try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even realizing it, live your way into the answer. And that's from the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and your presence with me today. Thumbs up to the third eye between the brows. Big breath in. Offer your exhale to the room. And as we bow forward in reverence to each other, together we say, Namaste. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. Thank you for investing yourself in this practice. If you enjoyed this class, we will have our last week of this series coming out soon. It may already be up by the time that you watch this, so go check out that last class in the series. We'll be using the same skills we used today, but again in different postures, kind of building up to I think we're going to do some inversions next week, some handstands, or rather headstands and some forearm stands. And if you've never done either of those postures before, that's okay. We're going to work the very basic skills you need to start to work on some inversions. Thank you again so much for being here. Until we meet again on the mat, namaste.